Hello and welcome again to my videos. This week I'm going to be talking about friendship and how depressing it is when most of your friends go and live really far away from you to spite you, right? Before I get into that though, I just wanted to kind of quickly chuck out a couple little bits of news, which is I was on the Gadget Show. I know, right? It's like the coolest thing ever. It's going to be going out on the 1st of April on Channel 5 here in the UK. If you're a gaming fan at all, in any way, shape or form, you have to see it. I don't want to spoil it. I'm so excited. It was amazing. So much fun. Then also, right, got to go to the BAFTAs with Jason afterwards, which was pretty sweet. Had a bit of a chat in the cab, went to the BAFTAs, hung out. That's pretty cool. I was completely sober, which was refreshing for a BAFTAs, for me, video game BAFTAs. Haven't really been sober at any of them, ever. I did see a guy basically taking off his t-shirt and swinging it around his head on the dance floor, and I did have that moment of like, people who drink, which was a bit sad because, you know, that probably would have been, no, actually I would never get that drunk, not the BAFTAs, my God. I also went up to Manchester to see my friend Alana, who lives up there, because it was her birthday, and I guess that's what kind of got me thinking about all my friends and the fact that they live really, really far away from me. I think I've always had a bit of a strange relationship with like some of my closest friends. My best friend Nancy I've known since like the day I was born. I mean, literally we're born like a couple of days apart. We lived in the same street like all our lives, pretty much lived around her house. And then she moved up to Reading when we were about 10. And then it was that sort of thing of I didn't really get to see her that often because like when you're like that sort of age, you don't really have the money to keep getting on a train or anything like that. But we did stay in touch and we are still like best mates today. But it is that sort of thing, you know, she's got kids now. I don't get to see her all the time. I can't, you know, we can't just at the drop of the hat go off and do something. Alana, she moved up to Manchester when we were 18. So I've got my friend George and my friend Hannah, who both live in Dubai, which is pretty far away. My friend Dave, who has moved to China and probably isn't coming back. I saw him this week. He came back for a quick, brief visit and had some interesting things to say. What do you miss most about England?
Sausages.
So were you annoyed that I was sober when you came back?
Yes.
Now that I'm in my 3rd month, do you think that maybe I might be able to keep going for the whole year?
Oh yeah, I always thought you could do it. I noticed all the stubborn comments on your blog and I agree with them entirely.
Yeah, I don't think he's really going to be coming back, which is a little bit on the depressing side. Yeah, and my other friend Farah, who moved to Sweden and has been there for quite some time. Farah was the girl who I got into gaming with really seriously. We played some really fun games when we were very young. She actually came back as well this week, so that was quite fun. And I decided to bring one of the games of yore to show her and sort of see what her reaction was.
That's what he does.
Yay! That is awesome!
He doesn't like it when I have to go.
Mine! Or mine. Definitely mine.
So Farah, what does it remind you of?
Some pizza, Coke,
The drink.
expensive telephone calls to a helpline.
Did your dad never freak about that?
No, he was really good about it. And long hours of fun playing this game.
Yeah, we spent a fortune on that tip line. I mean, seriously, it must have been like hundreds of pounds. Her dad didn't really care. It was like one of those houses where they had like Dominoes and you could drink like proper Coca-Cola. Unlike my house where you weren't allowed to do any of those things. I didn't even know what Dominoes was. Never even heard of it. My family were like, no, you're having shepherd's pie again for like the 8th time that week. Never really had games consoles either. I think all these things backfired. Now I love junk food obsessively, fizzy drinks and video gaming. They should have just given them to me as a child and then I probably wouldn't care. Got thinking about a lot of this stuff. I had a pretty rubbish experience, which was my best friend from school died when I was 21, and that was when she was away travelling. She was living abroad in Thailand and she died there, and she's actually buried there as well. And I guess ever since that point, I've always been really suspicious of my friends living away from me, especially when they live abroad. It's that sort of thing of, you can only really work in life from experience, and if your experience has been a bad experience, then you can't ever say to yourself, well, it won't ever happen because it hasn't happened, because it has, if that makes sense. Like I was once in a house when a burglary happened, and so now every time in the middle of the night if I hear a noise, I can't ever say to myself, well, it's never happened. You've never been involved in a burglary. These things happen to other people. Because they don't, because I was there that one time when it did happen. And I think that's kind of affected all of my relationships since then, really, with all of my friends. I don't think you ever really get over losing like a really close mate when you're that sort of age. I mean, it's a long time later, and I don't think you don't ever not feel sad about it, but you just feel sad less amount of times, if that makes sense. It's still really painful, but it's less frequent, if that makes sense. If that's any kind of consolation for anyone who's had a loss out there. It's funny, you know. Yeah, it's one of those things you still think about them all the time. A lot of the time, in fact. Loads of things. She was the girl I basically grew up with and did everything with. She lived around the corner from me. Everything reminded me of her. Like, after she died, like, literally every single thing. Oh my God, see, look, it's years later and it still, like, totally chokes me up. Every single thing reminded me of her. Everything. Stupid things, like we used to play a game, walking over drains. Like, you know, 2 drains is good luck, 3 drains is bad luck, 1 drain cancel. Like, just the stupidest things, just stuff we do all the time. And I'll be walking down the street and I'll just be like, I can't ever be rid of this, because everything reminds me of it. Stupid things. We had conversations about ring pulls. We had, like, things you get off the cans, like conversations about just anything and everything when you spend that much time with somebody and then they're not there. And yeah, so that was that was a bit weird. It's weird as well because she's kind of buried out there as well. It's like she never really came back from Thailand, so when I do go there I have to blag my way into a refugee camp to go and see her. It's all a bit long-winded, but yeah, it's that thing of, like, some part of you sort of thinks, I don't think this anymore, but I did for a really long time. Some part of me just thought that she was just away, because she was away quite a lot before she died. Yeah, just sort of thinks that maybe she's away and she might come back. I don't really think that anymore, although I've never got around to deleting her number from my phone. I just refuse to do it. I don't know why, but that's really stupid. I looked at my phone and I'm like, oh, and I feel really crap. I don't know why I don't just get rid of it. Wow, this is weird. I can't believe I was gonna basically do a video about something completely different. I was going to do it about friendship, and I've just started talking about Steph and I can't really stop. I used to watch films and stuff, and I used to never understand why people would cry at ridiculous films. I'd be like, what's wrong with you people? You're just ridiculous. Why would you cry at these films? That's just silly. And the thing is, you're never really crying at the film. You're not really linked to that character in such a strong way that you're really upset that they're dead. You're just upset that it reminds you of the fact that your friend's dead and, like, they're not coming back, you know? That's why old people are so bloomin' sentimental. This is what I've realised getting older. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just all these horrible things that happen just remind you of horrible things that have happened in your life. God, I don't know why anyone watches Holby City or Casualty. It's just freaking depressing, man. I've completely forgotten what the entire video was about now. It was about the positivity of friendship and how you should really hold on to them. Although that does kind of go a little bit cyclical in the fact that your friends could die. Oh my God, what am I even talking about? I guess after Steph died, it made me really try and value my friendships a lot more. It made me really want to express how I felt to people a lot more, because I never got the chance to do that with her at all. Just fuck, man, shit. Even saying it out loud still really hurts. Still really, really hurts. Even after all this time. Sorry. There's not very many things in life that are as important as the friendships you have and the people you have around you. And I really wish that I could explain in words what that's like when it's not there anymore. I don't think I can. Although you can probably see from my cryy face. I think that, like I was talking before in, like, some of my videos about how, you know, if you have good friends around you, no matter what you do, whether you're drunk, whether you're sober, whatever you're doing, you'll always have, like, an incredible time. And I have to say, like, those kind of friendships, those are the things that will steer you through and get you through so many of these difficult things in life, and make it worth doing all the things you're doing, working hard, getting money, to do things with your friends, you know, to spend time with your friends, with your family, you know, that's more important than anything else. And I did realise a lot, especially last year, how much kind of time and energy I was putting into working, and I never really put that much energy into my friendships. And of course, as you get older, you know, your friends are going to travel abroad and go into different places. You know, as soon as it stops being like you see people at school or at college or at work, it becomes an effort to hang out with people. Of course it does. It's just natural, because it's easy when they're there. And you have to put that effort in to keep those things going. And you have to spend that time and energy. And yeah, it's a hassle, but it's so worth it. And you'll regret it when it's not there and you don't have that chance to kind of, you know, spend time with that person or those people who you really care about. So I have taken some positive steps to put in a bit more effort into my social life and my friends. I've booked a trip to Dubai to go and see Georgie and Han at the end of April. I really can't afford it, but I just think, well, it's kind of a little bit of the party hardy mentality, right? It's this thing of like, sometimes you'll feel like a bit of an outsider, like things are going on, maybe you're not invited, or, you know, other friends are hanging out and you're not hanging out with them and you feel a bit like, meh. And the thing is, you know what, in life, you have to make it happen. You have to make the party. If there isn't a party, you make one, right? You get your best mates round, you do whatever it is, even if it's in a phone box and you got yourself a Burger King crown and you're listening to music through a rubbish iPhone speaker, whatever that is, just do it, make it happen, have the fun and enjoy it while you can. So this is your homework for this week, right? I demand that you, after watching this video, call someone up you haven't spoken to in a while, or send them a text and just say hello. Be the bit, if you haven't been talking to them for a while, for whatever reason that is, be the bigger person. Initiate the conversation. Steph and I used to have some monumental arguments. I mean, like, we argued once over the netball team. That lasted for 8 months. We didn't talk to each other. I keep revealing all these ridiculous things about myself in these videos. God knows who's gonna, you know. I ran away to Paris when I was 15. I'll do a vlog about it some other time and you can hear the story. But basically she got annoyed with me for doing that. And we didn't talk for like a year and a half. And I'm really stubborn, and she is so stubborn. She was so stubborn. We didn't talk for like a year and a half. It like split our entire year at school. You either my friend, her friend. It was awful. Just awful. And it just wasn't worth it. And what I wouldn't give to have that time back where we could have been mates and hung out and not just been arguing over something really, really stupid. You know. Especially, you know, when she died a little while later, and I don't really have much of a choice anymore with hanging out with her. So that's your homework for this week. I want you to go and contact someone you haven't spoken to in a while, pick up the phone, make the connection, do it, because you should. Put in the effort. It'll be worth it, I promise.